Hello, welcome to today's update. Today's update is rather short. I'm slowly knocking out the different animations I need to complete Wolf, and let's get kind of right into it. So I did 4 different animations today, kind of more basic animations revolving around his movement states instead of attacks, which I've been working on earlier. So here you can see his crouch. This is based off of his theme, where he's kind of based off of wolf, right? That's in his name. So I wanted him to appear, right, have more points of contact with the ground, because animals usually are walking on the floors, right? So here his hand is touching the ground in this kind of crouch state, and I have 2 different frames of animations here for him, just like showing a very slow breathing cycle. Let me see if I can get this right. 0, 1. Right, so it's kind of very slow breathing here. Just very small adjustments, not very big. I don't want him moving a lot during his kind of more idle states. And the next thing I did was a block frame for each of the blocks. So I went into kind of different games to see what they did. A lot of the sprite-based games use only 1 frame of block, so where they just kind of show the static frame as they are blocking. So here, right, he kind of crosses his sword on his block, and you can see his kind of cape blowing back a little bit. I'm not exactly sure with how the cape looks, so that's still something I'm kind of trying to figure out, but I think it looks pretty good overall. It looks very nice on the initial block and initial hits. So yeah. The next one here is a crouch block. So if you can compare to his normal crouch, let's see, normal crouch, right? He raises his sword. He just raises one sword out in front of him to block. And very basic, 1 single frame. Nothing much going on here. And then this last one is a little bit more complicated. So this is his hit frame. So let's see if I can. Right. So this is instead of just a single static frame for being hit, I added 3 different frames. So first frame is him getting hit initially. And then these 2 other frames are him recovering. So if you can look at his idle pose here, right? He gets closer and closer back to his normal idle pose as these frames go on. And that's the thing I've realized in a lot of games. I've been looking at things like BlazBlue, where I've just been framing through things, and it seems like a lot of these games have this initial hit frame that is static until they recover, and there's a small animation during the recovery that you can still get hit out of. So that's what I tried to implement this. So let's go right into the game and see these things in action. Let's see. Oh. So you can see him crouching here, and then let me get my other controller. Right, and then if I hit him during this state, right, you can see him raising his sword and blocking, and the same thing with stand block, right? And I'm pretty sure this game is running slower than it should. Oh, got it. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's running slower than it should, because I'm recording at the same time. That's kind of basically it. Right, so that's his hit frame right here. Right, so you can see him blowing back and then recovering at the same time. It actually took a little bit of work to do to get that working. So initially I set his playback position to 0 after I update his state, and then I have to kind of freeze the animation until near the end. So I delay this, or I first set the play rate to 0, and then wait until the last 12 frames before I unfreeze the animation. So what you get is that, right, if you hit him with a very weak move, right, he recovers almost right away, right, and then if you hit him with a very strong move, he recovers right a little bit later. So it's kind of his like hit recovery. So yeah, that's all the updates for today. Look forward to more tomorrow. Oh, one thing is that I think I'm going more on the philosophy, or I'm talk a little bit more about my philosophy on these animations, or just observations. I think like efficiencies of frames. As I'm doing this, I realize how much work it takes to actually animate each move by hand. So efficiency, both in me drawing and the time in game, is super duper important. Right? So if you look at the stand hit animation here, it's just him. I drew 3 different frames, and this already kind of took me a while just to get him in different poses, render all his like costume and like blades and stuff like that. So and in reality, right, when the game is running, right, a lot of these things are happening on screen, so you can't really read a lot of things very well. So you just have to be very careful or you have to be smart about the timing of your frames and how they, where you put them, right, and the timing between them, and then like be mindful of which frames you actually want to draw and which frame you don't. Because I think a lot of the times, if you look at like especially this heavy attack that I did first, right, this is a very poorly timed attack, right? Just because you can see there's so much windup and there's so much delay before the hitbox actually comes out, right? I think this is like a 30 frame startup move, right? And I think like in a fighting game, this is like this mega slow button compared to like everything else that's in the game, right? So I would definitely like take away a bunch of frames. So let me take a look. So I'll keep this. I would probably keep this, and then some of these frames I would definitely do a lot slower, or do a lot faster, so that you just get a quicker and snappier animation. But yeah, that's kind of it. Still grinding away at the animations and the moves to complete this character. I think there's a lot of moves left to be done, and I just kind of gotta grind them out. It's pretty fun trying to like act these things out and stuff like that. But yeah, I have like all the normal attacks, all the air attacks, and I think at least one more special move left to do. So you will see a lot more of these updates. Just gonna be like small art updates, but it should be cool. Anyways, see you next update.